Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
The sun is shining here on a Thursday afternoon in Baltimore, but for the Yankees, there's a cloud over their organization as they have lost one of their own today, Gene "Stick" Michael. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball. Along with Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. The architect of the modern Yankee dynasty, Gene Michael, passed away earlier today at the age of 79. He played every single role you could play for the New York Yankees. First as a slick fielding shortstop with the team in the 1960s. And then he became one of the most important people in the history of the franchise. He served every role: player, coach, manager, and then GM. As I mentioned, the architect of the modern Yankee dynasty. The most important thing, keeping together the core four and not trading Bernie Williams. When you look at the championships that the Yankees have had of late, the 5 championships since he became the GM, obviously not the GM for those championships, but the bedrock, that was built by Gene.
I think of each spring training, Michael, when we went down to Steinbrenner Field, one of the first people I would seek out would be Gene Michael. And the fact is, he's a wealth of knowledge. We talk about what the Yankees did over the winter, what the Yankees might need to do to have a successful season. But Gene, all these people that he brought in, all the trades that they did not make and the ones that they did make, his stamp was on them. And I think the Yankee fans, when you look at those numbers at Monument Park, a lot of those numbers would not be there without Stick Michael.
Buck Showalter has 1,500 career victories, but when he had 0, Gene Michael decided to make him the manager of the Yankees. Buck Showalter spoke about Stick earlier.
So instrumental in the success of the Yankees through those years, and any conversation about it has to start with Gene Michael and the things that he fought through, how much he loved the Yankees, and how much, and he didn't want any adulation about it. He just did it because it was right. And very ethical guy, very competitive, smart as a whip, best evaluator of talent I ever saw. And some things he'd come to me with, I go, really? He goes, trust me, and I did. You find people you can trust, and Gene was one of those guys. He just, he was a rock.
Rob Thompson, the Yankee bench coach, told me, when you look out at Monument Park, Gene Michael is as important as anybody else in the history of the franchise. Anybody out there, Gene Michael could stand alongside them. Yankees lose Gene Michael today, but his contributions to the organization will last forever. Call on Yes is brought to you in part by CityMD. When you need a doctor, just walk into CityMD Urgent Care. By People's United Wealth Management, ready to help you set tomorrow in motion. And by Coke Industries. At Coke, we make things that make the world better. Well, following the rain out last night, this was a common off day for both teams. So they make up that game this afternoon. The Orioles have taken the field, so why don't we take a look at the Yankees starting lineup that will face Kevin Gausman, and it's presented by Lexus. Yankees lead off their left fielder Brett Gardner, first baseman Chase Headley bats second, hitting third the second baseman Starlin Castro. Didi Gregorius at shortstop cleans up, batting fifth the right fielder Aaron Judge. Matt Holliday, the DH, bats sixth, batting seventh the center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury. Todd Frazier at third base bats eighth, and batting ninth and catching, it's Austin Romine.
Former #1 draft pick Kevin Gausman will face the Yankees, and the lineup that was made out by Joe Girardi. Gausman out of Louisiana State University, and those are his numbers on the year. You can see 10-9 now, just recently getting over the 500 mark. ERA's up there, hits are up there, walks are up there, and opponents are hitting .291 against him. Let's check out our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Well, he's been pitching much better of late since the All-Star break. He is 5-2, and he's not given up a run in his last 13 2/3 innings. But the hits and walks allowed, if you combine everything that's happened all season long, he's up there among the top 5 in both of his categories. And he's got one of the better fastballs for a starting pitcher in the league. It can get up to 97 miles an hour. Good split change and a decent breaking ball. He's pitched much better in the second half of the season.
The Orioles had a moment of silence for Gene Stick Michael. The Yankees will be wearing a black armband on their left sleeve for the remainder of the season in honor of Gene Michael. Brett Gardner is ready. Kevin Gausman is ready. Now let's do it here in Baltimore. First pitch is a strike and we're underway. Sean Barber is the home plate umpire. The crew chief Jeff Kellogg at first. Will Little at second. James Hoy is over at third. These two teams have split the first two games. That one's fouled away, 0-2. Yankees won on Monday night. A really tough loss on Tuesday night on the walk-off home run by Manny Machado. Yesterday's game was rained out, and this is the makeup. And the Yankees will move on to Texas after this. The Orioles go to Cleveland. The 0-2. Foul back.
I mentioned Gausman's fastball at about 96 miles per hour on average. Not quite the power of Luis Severino, who has the best fastball, Yankee young right-hander. Gausman will feature a split change that he uses as an off-speed pitch, and it fades away from the left-handed hitters. And when he combines that with that power fastball, he can be tough to handle. And that was it, but it was in the dirt.
Yankees come in at 74-64. The Orioles 71-68. Yankees, who seem moments away from going a game and a half behind the Red Sox. That was on Tuesday when the Red Sox were losing and the Yankees were winning. Red Sox came back. Yankees lost the game. Red Sox won yesterday, so now it's back to 3 in the loss column, 4 in the games behind column. 2-2. 3-2 on Gardner.
Now, one of the issues that Gausman has is his number of pitches per inning. It's up over 18. And only one pitcher in the league throws more per inning. That's his teammate Wade Miley.
Boy, how apropos, Kenny, that Brett Gardner leads off with a walk and works the count, which is something that Gene Michael preached from the day he took over as the Yankee general manager. He felt that the Yankee at-bats were too short. He felt that they didn't work pitchers enough. He felt that you could get into the underbelly of the bullpen and really get a lot of damage done there. That was one of the reasons that he acquired Paul O'Neill.
Yeah, and he was always complimentary of the way I played, because that's basically what I did. I got on base a lot. And that's what he thought was important.
And he was Moneyball before Moneyball was cool, and before there was a book about it and a movie.
He would say to me, you work counts, you got on base, And that creates opportunities for the other players if you're not driving in the runs yourself.
There's a strike.
And that was sort of the trademark of the Yankees of the late 90s and the early 2000s. Those guys could grind out at bats. You just think Paul O'Neill. That's the reason why they made the trade for him.
Well, Paul O'Neill filled 2 columns for Gene Michael. He walked, took a lot of pitches in walking, and was a left-handed batter. And Gene thought that was important at Yankee Stadium to bring left-handed bats back into the lineup.
Plus, he was productive when he did swing the bat.
One-two, swing and a miss, and Headley down on strikes. Why don't we check out the Orioles defense, which is presented by Geico. You've got Mancini in left, Jones in center, and Smith over and right. Infield, it's Machado, Beckham, Scope, and Davis. That's third to first. Joseph behind the plate, and on the mound, Kevin Gausman. Here's Starlin Castro. Swing and a miss.
There's an example of that power fastball. Gausman this year against the Yankees is 1-1 with 2 no decisions. One of those no decisions, Baltimore won, and the other one, the Yankees won.
Oh and 2 on Castro. And the pitch. Just missed the outside corner, 1-2.
Now from the windup, as we take a look at this pitch, it's outside. Gausman made an adjustment, and it seems to have worked well for him. That's with nobody on base, although it's sort of like an abbreviated stretch, his windup. He has squared his shoulders a little bit more towards home plate, just a little bit. And he says that gives him an opportunity to throw more strikes and get ahead of more hitters. And he definitely has the power stuff. And they feel like he and Bundy, who also is the #1 draft pick, are going to lead their staff for years to come. And you look at the numbers, the last 9 starts, it's since the All-Star break.
Inside, 2-2. Just underway here in Baltimore. Yankees and the O's. Rubber game of this 3-game set. Gardner dives back.
Yeah, it looked like he was leaning. We mentioned the other night that Gardy's coming up on a 20-20 season. He has the 20 home runs. He's two stolen bases for 20 in that category.
Fouled away.
Well, with the abbreviated crowd today, your chances of getting a foul ball have certainly increased.
And of hearing a heckler.
Yeah, those are the days. When you're on the road, they only provide incentive. If your home crowd is heckling you, you know you're really playing bad. You're not doing anything any good.
Gregorius is on deck. Gardner on first. Castro at the plate with 1 out. Paying a lot of attention to Gardner. Runner goes. Throw to second. He's safe. A very dramatic call by Will Little. I guess he was looking to see if Schoop had the ball or not. I think Schoop didn't handle the ball, so a stolen base for Gardner is 19.
I think that was it. I think the ball just went behind Schoop and maybe behind the bag. Schoop picked it up. Now you can see the ball and maybe out of the side of Will Little. As the throw was there in time, Schoop never had the ball. In fact, it's sitting on the base. Gardner could have handed it to him.
So the pitch was a ball. It's 3-2 on Castro as Gardner's in scoring position. Three-two. Grounded foul outside of third.
Castro's had himself a nice series, and Didi has as well. Well, Didi's driven in 4 runs in this series.
Swing and a miss. Castro down on strikes. Well, let's look at the game time weather presented by City MD. Feeling under the weather? Just walk into City MD. Urgent care. 72 degrees is the temperature, 63% humidity. The wind 15 miles per hour. The forecast is sunny. It's a beautiful day.
I hope that applies to the Yankee pitcher.
It could either be sunny or gray.
Let's go sunny.
Here's Gregorius. Swings over the changeup, 0-1.
Yeah, Didi drove in 2 runs the first game, 2 runs the second. One of the best road hitters in the American League this year.
One and one. Last 25 road games, 35 for 93, 376. One and two.
And with Gausman, he uses his fastball 60% of the time. And that's one of the highest usage of the #1 pitch, the fastball, of any starter in the league. But he's got a good one.
One, two. Fouled away. Well, the Yankees in the first inning have fouled off 7 two-strike pitches. So they're making Gausman work. So far, very little of the show for it. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs. 1-2. Grounded, past it, diving Davis, and down the right field line. Gardner scores. Gregorius will go to second. It's an RBI double. Yankees on the board. They're up 1-0.
Well, Didi, it's only his 3rd hit of the series. Well, he's 3 for 10. I'll take that in any series, but that's his 5th run batted in. And Joe Girardi has had him batting in the 4th spot every game in this series, and it's paid off. This ball's headed for the corner. A big 2-out hit, and it gives the Yankees the lead.
.24 doubles for Gregorius, and that gives him 67 runs batted in. Good numbers for a shortstop, and also add in the fact he missed the first month with the shoulder injury that he suffered in the WBC.
You had mentioned about the foul balls, Michael, and I heard a stat that the Orioles staff this year has had more 2-strike foul balls than any. Their stats are everything now, than any team in the league, which makes them work even harder to try and get their outs.
Here's Aaron Judge. And the pitch is high to Judge. .38 home runs, 85 runs batted in, hitting .277. High fly ball, deep right center. There it goes. See ya! A 2-run home run for Judge, and the Yankees lead 3-0.
Well, all you had to do was hear the sound, and you knew that ball was destined for faraway places. Adam Jones in center took about 2 steps and then began to admire how far that ball went. That was as high as it was far. See what the pitch is. Whatever it is, it's up, fastball, and it is turned on. Judge has now hit 9 home runs against Baltimore this year.
Matt Holliday takes a strike. So just like that, the Yankees are up 3-0. One and two.
Judge must have been looking fastball. What'd they say, 60%? Pretty good chance he was going to get one.
Two and two.
Pitch count up to 33 here in the first inning, including those foul balls that Michael was talking about.
3-2. Slice foul. Here's the 36th pitch of the inning. Swing and a miss, and the final one. So Gausman strikes out 3, but the Yankees score 3. 2 of them on this swing. Aaron Judge goes yard, his 39th home run of the year. And the Yankees have a 3-0 lead. Beckham, the shortstop, leads off, batting second. Third baseman Manny Machado. Jonathan Scope at second base. He'll hit third. Cleaning up, center fielder Adam Jones. Trey Mancini in left field will bat fifth. Batting sixth, first baseman Chris Davis. Mark Trumbo, the DH, bats seventh. Batting eighth, playing right field, Seth Smith. And Caleb Joseph will catch. He'll bat ninth.
Let's look at the numbers for Sonny Gray so far this year with the A's and the Yankees. He is 8-9 with a 3.36 earned run average. You can see that he's tough to hit. Only 112 on 134 innings, and the opponent's hitting just 222. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Roadblock with the Yankees. He has not been able to win on the road. He's 0-3, and the Yankees have gotten off to a good start this afternoon. Maybe that's a good sign. Lack of run support, that's been part of the problem. Yankees haven't been able to score for him. Hopefully this afternoon they can change that. His last 12 starts, a 2.24 ERA. So he's been doing his job as far as getting the opposition out. Just get him some runs.
Tim Beckham will start it off against Gray. Yankees got 3 runs in the top of the first. And Gray deals. And there's a strike. That's the 3rd game of what will be a 9-game, 3-city road trip. Now the only question is the Yankees are not quite sure what that 3rd city is going to be. After this game they'll go to Texas, and they know they'll play 3 games there. Now obviously what the Yankees do next is minuscule in comparison to what the people in Florida are girding for with Hurricane Irma, and we wish all the best to the people down there and hope that things go as well as could be hoped for. But the Yankees are not sure that after that Sunday game in Arlington where they're going. There's a lot of discussion. They should know sometime tomorrow whether or not that series will be played in St. Pete or whether it will be moved somewhere else. Lined and off the glove of Castro into right center field. Probably a base hit for Beckham. Yankees hadn't played beautifully, but the ball was scalded.
Yeah, Beckham's been doing well out of the leadoff spot since coming to Baltimore, and that one off the glove of Castro, who did his best to flag it down. But Beckham's on with a leadoff single.
So here's Manny Machado. Last time the Yankees saw him, he ended the game on Tuesday with a booming home run off a hanging breaking ball from Dellin Betances. Gave the Orioles a 7-6 victory. That was his 2nd home run of that game. There's a strike. One and one. Two and one to Machado.
Yeah, Machado and Scope on deck have proved to be a big 1-2 punch. One of the best in the league. Between the two of them, 63 home runs and 192 runs batted in.
Grounded to third. Let's see if they turn 2. There's one. And there's 2. Machado hardly running to first base as that was turn 5-4-3. Let's check out the Yankees defense presented by Geico. Gardner's in left, Ellsbury in center, Judge over in right. Infield, Frazier, Gregorius, Castro, and Headley. Third to first, Romine behind the plate, and on the mound, Sonny Gray.
Now this is what Michael was talking about, and one of my only issues with Manny Machado, he's a great player. Let's not get, sometimes he just doesn't run hard to first base. And this is a double play. You're trying to beat it out. You're going for a wild card. You put the pressure on the defense, sometimes they'll throw the ball away. There's no pressure on. Castro could have taken his time and halfway walked to first base and then thrown the ball.
1-0 on Jonathan Scope. 31 home runs, 102 runs batted in.
And I think we've mentioned this before. When one of your best players, I think back to the Yankees and Derek Jeter. he ran hard all the time, and that just set precedent. He was the captain of the team. Adam Jones years ago had an issue with Buck, and Buck brought him in the office and showed him the video. Adam Jones runs hard every single time now.
Fly ball center field. Ellsbury battles the sun and puts it away for the final out of the first. No runs are hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Let's go to the second. It's 3-0 Yankees. By Toyota, Prius Prime, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. What was Gene Stick Michael's most meaningful contribution during his time with the Yankees? Be Fresh 24, I suppose all would say architect of the dynasty, but I believe it would be his cool, calm, classy demeanor. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius Prime to keep the conversation going. Some of the moves of Gene Michael, GM from 1990 to 95, starting with hiring Showalter as manager, drafted Jeter, traded for O'Neill, traded for Abbott, signed Jimmy Key, Wade Boggs, traded for Wetland, signed Darryl Strawberry, and also traded for David Cohn in 1995. And that's just a few.
That's just a few, and every one of them made major contributions to the Yankees.
Ellsbury with a high fly ball left side. That'll make the seats out of play. Well, not on that list, signing guys like Spike Owen, Mike Gallego, changing the way the clubhouse was. The thought process and the players that were in there, and whether they played hard, how they prepared. He changed the whole way the Yankees were looked at. Soft ground ball, fielded by Gausman, and he will tag Ellsbury. This is what Derek Jeter said on the passing of Gene Stick Michael. Gene Michael was not only largely responsible for the success of the Yankees organization, but also for my development as a player. He was always accessible and willing to share his personal knowledge as well as support. He will be greatly missed. And he will be. Yeah, I mean, what a great guy to be around. Always a smile, always a story. And as you said in the open, Kenny, I mean, you could talk baseball with him for hours. He'd seen it all.
You know, one thing he told me, he really hit Bert Blyleven well, and he knew that I didn't. And he would always bring that up. He said that he was the reason why it took Blyleven so long to get into the Hall of Fame. And I used to kid with him, and I said, yeah, somebody like you could hit him. They were going to try and keep him out.
Always managed both teams on Old Timers Day, and Joe Girardi used to joke with him, you can't lose. High fly ball, deep left, going back Mancini. He's on the track. He'll make the play right in front of the wall for the second out. Here's what Yankees managing general partner Hal Steinbrenner said on the passing of Gene Michael. Stick was a pillar of this organization for decades. He knew the game of baseball like few others did and was always willing and excited to talk about it with anyone in earshot. His contributions to the Yankees over the years have been immeasurable. He will be profoundly missed. Here's Romine. Fly ball right field. On the run is Smith. It's going to dunk in for a base hit for Romine, a 2-out single. And I would think, Kenny, that of all the years, when George Steinbrenner bought the team in 1973, I believe that Gene Michael was probably his most trusted advisor. He always believed in what Stick was going to say. The two of them obviously had battles, but Stick had a job in the organization for life. The whole Steinbrenner family felt that strongly about him.
You had the feeling that they all were sitting around the table making a decision, and George was sitting there that he'd go to Stick last.
Buck Showalter told a story today, Kenny, about George Steinbrenner had sent word through Gene Michael that if you play Randy Velarde tonight, I'm going to fire you. And they were playing the Red Sox, and Bruce Hurst was on the mound. And Velarde owned Hurst. So Stick came into the clubhouse, and Buck said, well, he owns Hurst. And Stick said, you do what you have to do, and I'll back you up. He said, Randy Velarde had a home run and a double. He said, I wanted to kiss him. But Stick always had your back. And that's Buck said something on the interview that we had on the pregame show. He said, I feel sorry for any manager that doesn't have a Gene Michael, a new manager that doesn't have a Gene Michael behind him. He said, because now all they have to depend on is analytics. He said, and Gene Michael saw so much more than numbers could tell you.
That's true, but he did know the value of on-base percentage before it became such a popular way of evaluating players.
(3-1). And Gardner walks for the second time against Gausman in 2 innings.
Yep.
There is Lou Saban and George Steinbrenner and Stick, and there's Buck Showalter with Gene Michael. And Buck was not his first choice. And he told them that. He called them up, said, I'm going to name you the manager. We're going to have a press conference, but you're not my first choice, but we'll make it work. I think Hal Lanier was his first choice. It was Chase Headley. And Buck got a 1-year contract from the Yankees. And so when he was at the press conference, they said, well, what's your long-range game plan? He said, I have a 1-year game plan. He said, I have a 1-year contract.
Well, 1,500 wins later, he's still managing.
I'll tell you what, Ken, he was shaking today. He was, he said this was one of those things. He said, my wife called me in the car. He said, and it's one of those things in life where you pull the car on the side of the road. He said, I've cried an awful lot today. And you could see right there, he's put a black armband on his windbreaker. Pitch is high, 1-2 on Headley. Yankees have runners on first and second, 2 outs.
And for a Buck, as a minor league player, never got a chance to play in the big leagues. I mean, to spend this much time in the big leagues as a successful manager, and this is the man that gave him the opportunity. You can understand how he feels.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Headley struck out in the first inning. He's got 2 runners on right here. Yankees lead 3-0 in the second. Ground ball, second base. Scope gobbles it up and flips to Davis, and that will do it. Yankees strand 2. Well, the start of the Yankee dynasty started with those 2 men, Buck Showalter and Gene Michael. Rest in peace, Stick.
Today's injury report brought to you by Montefiore, doing more in state-of-the-art healthcare. Adam Warren has been placed on the DL. Joe Girardi saying that he would not pick up a ball in at least 2 weeks, so it is questionable as to whether or not the Yankees get him back this season. Girardi said, being that he is a reliever, there's a better chance that he does in fact make it back. And they lost him earlier in this season, and his presence was definitely missed in that bullpen. It'll be missed again, but Michael, Joe said this time around he feels like they're a little bit better suited to handle the absence of Warren.
Yeah, they probably are, Meredith. They've got a deeper bullpen, but Warren is so much of like a Swiss Army knife. You could use him anywhere, and it was a nice security blanket out there. So they think that he could get back, and the fact that he's not a starter, Kenny, and doesn't have to get himself 100 pitches ready, he can certainly contribute if he's shut down for 2 weeks.
Yeah, plus there's more arms out there with the expansion of the rosters into September.
The 0-1. Rip foul. One and two. Jones one hit and 8 at bats in the first 2 games of this series. He's 10 for 36 on this long homestand for the O's. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. 2 and 2.
Sonny Gray with the variety of pitches, just about everything moves. Excellent breaking ball, good changeup, 4-seam and a 2-seam fastball. Vanderbilt University, we got an SEC matchup today. Gausman out of LSU.
Ground ball up the middle, grabbed by Castro, fires the first on a hop, not in time. I think it pulled Headley off the bag, so a base hit for Jones.
Now, one thing the Yankees haven't been able to do the first 2 games of the series is keep the Orioles in the park. They've hit 7 home runs in the first 2 games, and that's what they do. That's how they score. But Sonny Gray has one of the best ground ball rates in baseball. As we see Jones beat that one out, we look at it on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
Swing and a miss.
Trey Mancini having an excellent rookie year. Made the adjustment to the outfield. He came up as a first baseman.
Did he go? That time he did. So he is down on strikes.
First strikeout for Sonny Gray, and we get a look. Does Mancini? Yeah, he went. Good call by first base umpire crew chief Jeff Kellogg.
There's Chris Davis. Davis 1 hit and 8 at bats in this series. Strike. One and one.
You mentioned the 1 for 8. Davis has struck out 4 times. And in the second game of the series, he got caught looking 3 times.
Well, you can see he's fallen in the lineup too, Kenny. I mean, they've moved him down. He was a middle of the order guy, 3rd or 4th, but with the strikeouts now come a .222 average and just 23 home runs. And you mentioned earlier in the series he's been somewhat banged up this year, but the production not the same.
Well, once they moved Scope into that 3rd spot, Scope produced, and he wasn't going anywhere.
Two and two. Yankees 3-0, an RBI double by Gregorius in the first, a booming 2-run home run by Judge also in the first. So Gray has a lead to work with here in the bottom of the second inning.
Davis does remain a dangerous hitter, but I always felt if you made decent pitches to him, you could get him out. He's a good low fastball hitter, and pitchers try and pass him around belt or belt a little higher than that, get him to swing underneath it, or they try to go lower than low where he'll chase it and they get him out.
Swing and a miss. Davis down on strikes, 2 down.
You saw Austin Romine when he gave Sonny Gray the target. He almost put the target down on the ground. You want to go lower than low, and you can see this pitch drops out of the strike zone. Davis chases it and strikes out. He likes the ball down there, but if you get it lower than low, he'll go for it, and you get him out.
Here's Mark Trumbo. One and 0.
Trumbo's warmed up some lately. 7-game hitting streak. But he too's been moved down in the lineup.
Yep. High fly ball, right center. Judge is there to make the play, and that will do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We're going to go to the 3rd. It's 3-0 Yankees. crisp Coors Light. 30-plus home runs by a second baseman and a third baseman. Let's see, all-time in the American League. Scope and Machado now. They join Cano and Seager from last year's Mariners, Odor and Beltre from last year's Rangers, Kinsler and Beltre from the 2011 Rangers, and Joe Gordon and Ken Keltner of the 1948 Indians. Except for Gordon and Keltner, it's somewhat modern phenomenon.
What year was that? 48 Indians?
48.
They won the pennant that year.
The 0-2. Just got a piece to stay alive. Castro struck out in the first inning. It's 3-0 Yankees. Along with Ken Singleton and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay, and we thank you for spending part of your Thursday afternoon with us. Rubber game of this 3-game set, which is significant. The Yankees have lost 11 straight series here at Camden Yards, dating back to the beginning of 2014. Hard to believe.
It is, because in prior years they used to roll in here and just kind of have their way. But then, it kind of coincides with the coming of Buck Showalter to Baltimore.
Looped in the infield and caught on the backhand by Scope for the first out.
It looked like Scope thought that ball was going to travel out to him, and then all of a sudden he had to go get it. Now, if he had gotten it on the short hop, there was no way he was going to get Castro. This ball had some hang time. He took a few steps back, then came in to make the catch. There you look at the Jonathan Scope, good all-around player. And he's having a laugh about it. We wouldn't be laughing if he didn't catch it.
Big cut by Gregorius. 0-1. Didi with a double just past Davis down the right field line that drove in a run in the first inning. Big hit because Gardner was at second with 2 outs. 2 out hits win you games. And that allowed Judge to come up and smack a 2-run home run.
Now, when Gosman first came on the big league scene, he pitched very well against the Yankees, but lately, the last couple of years, the Yankees are starting to get to him.
On one hop, and bobbled by Beckham. Recovers, fires, not in time. We'll see how they score that. It was a tough hop.
Yeah, it was, but let's see how they scored. Ball is hit. E6. That's what I thought it was going to be. Because he was in front of it, Didi has the speed and is on the air. Got up into his chest, recovers, got rid of the ball quickly, but couldn't get enough on the throw.
So that's going to bring up Aaron Judge. So he homered in the first inning. These are his numbers through 14 games with the Orioles. 22 hits and 46 at bats this year. 9 homers, 18 ribbies. That's .478, by the way.
That might be a reason why he's walked 5 times in this series. Did they change it, Michael?
They changed it to a hit.
You know what? The degree of difficulty. If I'd hit that, I'd want to hit too. But then again, I always want him.
If you were the pitcher, you'd want that to be an error.
Oh, of course you would. I can just hear David Cohn now, or Al. This is big leagues. You got to catch that ball.
Joseph scrambles after it as Didi stays put.
I think if Didi had gone initially, he would have made it. Joseph lost track of the ball momentarily. You can watch Joseph scramble to try and find the ball. Well, there it is. Got near the umpire, Sean Barber.
Two, 3-2. And Judge works a walk. Well, Aaron Judge has 9 home runs against the Orioles and 3 of them against Gausman, Kenny.
Well, here's one at Yankee Stadium, and I don't think any of these are cheap. Whoa, that's in the same game. He hit 2 in one game. And then this afternoon, well up into the bleachers here at Camden Yards, more than halfway. And that put the Yankees out in front by 3.
So it makes sense why he walked him. Here is Matt Holliday.
You know, there have been some big time pitchers who've given up home runs to one particular hitter. If I'm not mistaken, Hank Aaron hit 17 home runs off Don Drysdale. They're both in the Hall of Fame, but they faced each other a lot. But 17?
Count 2-0.
And I think it was either Sandy Koufax or Don Drysdale that gave Henry Aaron the nickname Bad Henry. Bad as in good. The same thing is happening to Gausman today that happened to Bundy in the first game of the series. Pitch count got up really quick. Hasn't been able to put a clean inning in so far.
And the Oriole bullpen has really been overused. So you get in there, you got a chance. Although on Tuesday did a really good job. Came in early for Hellickson and shut it down. Allowed the team to come back. 2-1. Line into right field. It is a base hit. Gregorius rounds third. He's coming home. He'll score. The throw to third is not in time. Judge gets in. RBI single for Holliday, and the Yankees lead 4-0.
Well, Holliday with the broken bat looper. Didi scores easily from second base. The Judge was the one that was under some pressure, and he's able to make it into third. Seth Smith gets off a pretty good throw from right field. But Judge, using all of that 6'7", is in there just ahead of the tag of Machado. Watch him stretch it out here. And he's in there. Good base running by the Yankees in that inning, or just in that instance.
Roger McDowell, pitching coach, comes out and talks with Gausman, and sweet poetry that Holliday gets a hit to drive in a run. He wears number 17, and that's the number Gene Michael wore when he played for the Yankees in the 60s and the 70s. Holliday picks up his 56 run batted in. You know, you always talk about losses that hurt more, and that's about as tough a loss as the Oriole bullpen gets ready with Mike Wright as you could have, that the Yankees had on Tuesday. And maybe this was one of the instances, Kenny, that the rain out yesterday was good for the Yankees, so they didn't have to get right back on the field, and it's far away in the rearview mirror, that game, and they came out and they looked sharp.
Yeah, there's two ways to look at it. Some, you know, with baseball, even if you're the Orioles and you won that game, you want to keep going. You've got some momentum there. The Yankees, from their standpoint, It's one thing I always felt. You just got to be able to turn the page really quick in this game. Another good scoring opportunity right here. And I think one reason they lost that game, they scored 6 runs in 1 inning and couldn't score in any other inning. They couldn't tack on.
Grounded to second. There's one. And they can't turn 2, allowing Judge the score. So an RBI for Ellsbury, and it's 5-0 Yanks.
Yeah, Ellsbury's tough to double up. We all know that he's got that type of speed. The ball wasn't hit all that hard, so the pressure was really on the Orioles to turn this double play. A good initial throw to Beckham. You can see Holiday's that ball just missed him. But Ellsbury well across the bat, gets himself a run batted in. This is going to be his 4th run batted in of the series as the Yankees tack on another run here in the 3rd.
Well, you are so right, Kenny. That ball just missed hitting Holiday in the helmet. Here's Todd Frazier, who just missed a home run his last time up, driving Mancini back to the track in left field. That's how close it is.
This is a better angle to tell, man. Yeah, Beckham really dropped down with the throw.
Well, you talk to guys like Willie Randolph and Bucky Dent. They used to always do that because a guy would come up high to try to inhibit the throw, and they'd say, okay, I'll hit you in the face with the throw.
That's how you protect yourself, too, from those guys taking you out at second base back in the days when it was legalized. I was talking to Todd Frazier before the game in a dugout. He is so pleasant to talk to. And as we ended our conversation, I said, get something you can move today. And I thought he did in the 1st inning, up against the wall in left field.
Two and 0.
Well, here's one of those pitches that you hear about in golf. Moving day is supposed to be Saturday. You move up the leaderboard list. You get a 2-0 pitch. It's moving. It's a moving opportunity for a hitter.
Foul back, 2-1. Fouled away, 2-2.
Yeah, we were talking about Gausman's struggles against the Yankees. His last start was on June 11th. And he lasted 3 1/3, 8 hits, 7 runs. He walked 6 without a strikeout. That was a game the Yankees won 14-3.
Swing and a miss. Frazier down on strikes. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 man left.
Fibbed to George Steinbrenner is my favorite thing. Bernie had lost a game in Texas, and George said, I want him off the team. It was 92 or something like that, 93. And Stick said, okay, I'm going to call everybody. And a week later, George said, that guy, he's still there. And Stick said, you're right, George. Nobody wants him, this guy, Bernie Williams. Nobody wants him. And George said, this is on you, Stick. This is on you. And I think that Bernie Williams turned out pretty good, huh?
Yeah, one of the great Stick stories from Susan Waldman, one of the Yankee broadcasters, and that's how Bernie Williams stayed a Yankee. And Stick believed in Bernie so much, he traded Roberto Kelly for Paul O'Neill. That freed him up to trade Roberto Kelly. So if he had traded Bernie, he doesn't have Roberto Kelly to trade for Paul O'Neill. History changes. And probably the most important thing he did was he kept together the core four and Bernie.
Yeah, it's not only the trades you make, sometimes it's the ones you decide not to make.
Hit sharply and knocked down by Headley. He flips to Gray to retire Smith.
Yeah, the corner positions like first base and third base are the knockdown positions. When the ball is hit pretty hard, you can still make the play. You can still get the out at first. Headley gets enough of it. Looked like it hit him towards the heel of the glove and up off the body. Still had enough time to make the play. Now, not as much time at shortstop or second when you knock it down to make the play. And we saw that with Beckham earlier in this game.
Also, Kenny, we should send out birthday wishes to Susan Waldman.
It's today.
Yeah.
Huh?
Happy birthday, Susan.
Looks like somebody has already beat us to it.
And also, it's the birthday of our former colleague,
Kim Jones. Now, you saw those flowers in front of Susan there?
Yeah.
Those are yellow roses? You know who sent her those flowers?
Rocky?
Rocky did, yeah.
Very nice, Meredith.
Way to go.
You know, Michael, I like to surprise people sometimes. Show them I could be kind.
Let's see, when was my birthday?
Kenny, yours are still in the mail. Michael, I never sent yours.
I got that feeling. You don't send me flowers anymore.
Do we have time to order a cake or something?
You know Baltimore, where the bakeries are. The way this game's moving, I think we could bake her a cake.
Yeah, but you know, at 5-0, it's moving in the right direction.
The 1-2. Strike three. Joseph down looking.
Nice pitch from Sonny Gray. Picks up his third strikeout of the afternoon. Talk about the movement he had. Looked like that one darted back over the outside corner. Good frame by Romine. Just hold that glove there. Yeah, it did have the corner. That was an easy call for Sean Barber.
Here's Beckham. Grounded to short. Tough hop for Gregorius, and he gets Beckham for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. So Gray has retired 6 in a row. We go to the fourth. 5-0 Yankees. Rockies over the Orioles. Let's take a look at today's pitching matchup, which is brought to you by People's United Bank NA. Kevin Gausman against Sonny Gray. Now Gausman's day is over as Buck Showalter's going to go to the bullpen. Mike Wright comes in. Gausman 3 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, walked 3, struck out 4, didn't have it. Sonny Gray 3 innings, 2 hits, didn't allow a run, and didn't walk a batter. Hasn't walked a batter. He's still in there, 3 strikeouts. So here is Mike Wright.
Mike Wright has been back and forth between Norfolk, the Orioles AAA affiliate, in the International League, and the Orioles. He's worked both as a starter and as a reliever for Baltimore. This year he has not made any starts in the big leagues, but he was a starter at AAA. And he went 4-6 in 16 starts.
Grounded to third, backhanded by Machado. The long throw, and he took an extra base hit away from Romine.
It's not only the, making the play behind the bag at third, but to watch the throw across the diamond. This kind of separates the third. This is like a clothesline across the diamond. There wasn't any loops in that throw. Oh, here's a good look at it. Machado, once he gets it, you're done. He's able to throw you out.
Remember, he's a shortstop by trade, so he's got the range and a great arm. Gardner's walked twice against Gausman and takes a pitch inside from Wright.
Thinking about early in the year in spring training when Joe Girardi challenged Brett Gardner, told him he'd like to see him score 100 runs this year. 15 more to go. It's
possible. It's a good month.
It's possible. He scored 1 today. His career high is 97.
Looped into left field. That is going to be a base hit. Gardner rounds first. He's going to second. Mancini comes up throwing. Gardner's in there as the throw's cut off by Beckham. A double for Gardner. Meredith has more on Brett Gardner.
Well, Michael, I spoke with Gardner earlier, and he said he had a conversation with Stick Michael this spring training. Stick came up to him and said, this year, you have to play like your hair's on fire. That's the way you got into the league. You played with a ton of energy. Do it again this year. And he said he seemed like every year Stick would come up to him and give him some advice on the season. And Gardner said, anytime a guy like that comes up to you, you listen.
Good stuff. And Gardner was a player that Stick liked. Here is Headley. You know, the way the game has gone now, Kenny, with, the advent of analytics, which obviously are very, very effective, I think that you're not going to see that many Stick Michaels anymore. Guys that respect the analytics, but certainly trust their eyes.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes you get a feel for a player, so to speak.
High fly ball, deep right field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run for Headley. A 2-run shot. It's 7-0 Yanks.
Well, you get a feel for a player, and sometimes you get a feel for a pitch. I think Headley has a good feeling right now as he touches home plate. That ball was tagged. Number 12. Oh, number 12. at the plate and in the seats.
"56 ribbies now for Headley. Pitch to Castro's a strike.
Just the sound itself would tell you this ball is not going to stay on the field.
I've been told by players, Kenny, that when you hit one like that, you almost don't feel it. It doesn't really vibrate that much. You hit plenty like that. Is it true?
You have the sensation when the ball, you make contact.
Right.
And it's almost like that contact, or that, you hit it so well, it kind of tells your brain that it's time to start smiling and try. By the way, that was the Yankees' 200th home run this year. So this year it's Chase Headley who hits number 200. Nice round number.
And another run for Brett Gardner, so he needs 14 more. 1-2. 2-2.
So all those fans out there who picked Chase Headley to hit number 200. You know who got some votes? Ronald Torreyes, because he hit number 1. But you got to be in the lineup to be able to hit one.
That's right. Line sharply at Beckham for the second out.
Wright has come on. He's not fooling anybody. Line drive to the shortstop, and also a nice play by Machado for the 2 outs. There's a little hold up here. There's a plastic bag floating across the field. A little cleanup for the pitcher, Mike Wright.
You know, you see the Orioles and how they score runs, and that they're making a run at a wild card that nobody expected them to make. But then you watch their pitching, and you just, how are they going to overcome the fact that they're not getting really well pitched games?
If you keep them in the park, you got a really good chance of beating them.
Because you'll hit it out of the park against their pitching. Yankees add 2 more on this 2-run home run by Headley. Yankees feeling good on this Thursday afternoon. They have a 7-0 lead. Friday night, September 15th, when the first 18,000 guests in attendance Receive a Yankees knit cap courtesy of WFAN. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Sonny Gray finally getting big offensive support. Been a problem all year, even with the A's. Audi scoreboard, Yankees lead 7-0. And here is Machado. And a strike. Yankees playing the pull, 3 infielders on the left side. He just misses getting hit. 1-1.
Man, he's going to have to jump back out of the way. There you see a two-seam fastball moving in on him. The target was in. And looked like he was leaning out over the plate, maybe looking for a breaking ball. There is the breaking ball. Now, earlier in the season, as we were here, we saw Manny Machado really struggle. And a lot of it was because people felt he was falling in love with hitting home runs. He was swinging so hard, he was falling down. But then the light went on, he started hitting the ball better to the opposite field. And his average started to climb. His home runs kept coming, but his batting average went up as well. And he was seeing what Jonathan Scope was doing. They're great friends. Very competitive as far as what they do on the field.
And also, he was a victim of a low batting average on balls put in play, which most people think will turn around at some point, unless you have an entire season of bad luck. And all of a sudden, they started falling. He hit some balls hard, but the batting average was miserable for a guy of his talent. It's a stat called BABIP, B-A-B-I-P. 3-2. That one is chopped to third. Foul ball.
You heard Sean Barber, the home plate umpire, bark out foul ball. It's his call until the ball passes third base. And he screamed out foul ball. Manny Machado was down. He ran hard that time.
To the count full on Machado. Machado, Scope, and Jones here in the bottom of the fourth. Yankees up 7-0. And the pitch. Foul back. Well, the Baltimore, D.C. area holding their breath because two of their biggest stars are going to be free agents at the end of next year. Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. Harper of the Nationals, Machado here of the O's. 3-2.
You get the feeling those guys are going to get paid, even if they stay or if they go.
And it seems, Kenny, that the Nationals owners seem to have a willingness in deeper pockets than the ones here with the Orioles. So there's a chance that they would dip down and give Harper that big number. I'm not quite sure if the O's will.
Well, I think they already gave Harper a big contract this year.
Yes.
Yeah. Sort of like saying, you stay. There's more of this where this came from. There's more money where this came from.
So Gray wins that battle as he grounds it to Gregorius. That fastball was 95 miles an hour. fast pitch speed analytics brought to you by Fios. He is topped out at 96 today. That was 95. Here's Scope. Pitch inside. 1-0.
You know, if you think that topic of a conversation with Manny Machado's contract is hot and heavy now, wait till next year.
Well, that's a franchise-altering decision.
Yeah.
Do you trade him? Get what you could get for him?
No, it's not what they're going to get something for him if they trade him. But I think the team that acquires him, they're going to have some sort of agreement that you know, we have a definite opportunity to sign you long term. If there is that type of trade. Or, you know, if Manny gets out on the free agent market, you know, teams, everybody's in play.
Well, I mean, when you get that close to free agency, most guys will not sign.
You're not.
So anybody who makes a trade for him is making a trade for him for 1 year.
If you feel he's the final piece of the puzzle to put you over the top to win the World Series, that's when you make the deal. And if he's part of a team that wins the World Series, he might want to stay with that team.
And if it's a team that has the money to compete in the bidding for him, they might want him a year early to make him like the surroundings. 1-2. 2-2.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation, and you know, I think back to the advent of free agency, and Charlie Finley, the owner of the A's, he realized he couldn't sign his player. He traded them all. You guys got to go.
2-2. Grounded to short. Gregorius gets Scope. 2-away.
We told you Sonny Gray has a very high ground ball rate. He's gotten 1 double play today. 4 of his last 5 outs have been ground balls. The other was a strikeout.
Here's Jones, infield single, his first time up. Jones and Showalter have become very, very close over the years. And Showalter relayed a story today that he was sitting in his office, and obviously it was a bad day for him with the news of Gene Michael's passing. And Adam walked in and said, "Can I talk to you?" And Buck said, "I'm wondering what's going on." And he sat down and he said, "Let's talk about Gene Michael." And Buck was just amazed that he had that kind of presence of mind to know that that was on Buck's mind, and he wanted to talk to him about it.
I think when Jones got married a couple of years ago, Buck went to his wedding, went all the way to San Diego.
Well, there was a story in the paper today where Jones lauded Buck because he picked up his 1,500th win on Tuesday and said, "He's taught me more about being an African-American player and what it means." He said when he first got here, he called me into his office and said, "Have you been to the Negro Leagues Museum? You should go. This is important."
Kansas City.
Yeah. So they've become close.
It's quite an experience, to say the least.
Two-1. 3-1.
Jones is sort of like, if there were a captain of the Orioles, it's him. He's been here, I wouldn't say a long time, but he's produced 7 consecutive years of 25 or more home runs.
That one is ripped into right center field. That is going to be a base hit. Bounces up against the wall. Jones is heading to second, and he'll have himself a 2-out double.
Now, I mentioned these 7 consecutive years of 25 or more home runs. For center fielders, Only 3 other center fielders have done that. Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Andruw Jones. And this is a booming double to the gap in right center field. One of the few pitches that Sonny Gray's gotten towards the middle of the plate. And Adam Jones puts it in the gap for a 2-out double.
Here's Trey Mancini. (0-1). The double by Jones, third hit against Gray. 2 of them by Jones. The other one an infield single off the bat of Beckham. 7-0 Yankees lead. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning.
That one just missed. You know, when I saw that note, Andruw Jones was on that list, and he might be one of those guys that near Hall of Fame caliber because of all the Gold Gloves. I think he won 12 of them. And I think his defensive WAR is as good as anybody. I'm sure he had over 400 home runs. So, and he played on some pretty good Braves teams.
Well, that stat you gave is startling.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's been out of the game though. It's coming up on 5 years, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He was with the Yankees for a little while.
He and Derek Jeter became very close in his time with the Yankees.
Well, we know where Derek's going.
Three and one.
Sonny Gray trying to put this inning behind him, but giving up the 2-out double. Now falling behind Mancini, 3-1. Take a deep breath.
I just got this text message from Bernie Williams about Gene Michael, and he is devastated. And he said, Gene Michael always supported me when I was a young up-and-coming player, and despite some struggles along the way, always believed that I would become a significant part of the Yankee organization. I never forgot that. And today we have lost one of the most treasured members of the Yankee family. But let's celebrate his life and his legacy. As the architect of the team that would go on to win 4 World Series, Gene was as significant a part of our championship teams in the 90s as anyone. I will miss him dearly, and my thoughts and prayers are with his family, friends, and fans everywhere.
Yeah. Well said, Bernie.
Here's Chris Davis. First and second, 2 outs. Foul back.
This is the first inning of the game where Sonny Gray's really had to work fairly hard. As I said, it all started with 2 outs.
The 0-1. 0-2 on Davis.
Well ahead on the count. There's 2 ways to go here. Fastball up around the letters, see if he'll chase it, or breaking ball in the dirt, see if he'll chase that.
Popped up and out of play on the left side. How about this stat, Kenny? The Yankees have scored at least 6 runs in 6 consecutive road games for the first time since 2005 in September.
Like the good old days, huh?
What was that?
Like the good old days,
Yeah.
huh?
The 0-2. Just missed outside.
That was A-Rod's second year with the team, 05. You take another look. Ooh, just a hint off the outside corner. Pitch count's going to elevate some this inning.
Swing and a miss in the dirt. Scrambling after it is Romine. Fires to first to get the put out. And that will do it. No runs to hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Let's go to the 5th. Those 2 teams are very, very hot. Here is Aaron Judge leading off. The 5th inning, Yankees lead 7-0. Judge has a 2-run home run and a walk. It shows you the kind of lead that the Dodgers had, though. GMC scoreboard 7-0 Yanks, because the Diamondbacks are still double digits behind them, and the Dodgers have been doing their share of losing of late.
I think the Dodgers went 1-9 over a 10-game stretch. While mostly all year it was the other way around. They were going 9-1 in 10 games.
Building on your conversation about Andrew Jones, our information guru James Smythe tells us that Jones hits the Hall of Fame ballot this winter, along with other notable first-timers. Chipper Jones.
He's in.
Jim Thome.
He's in.
Johan Santana. Probably not. And Scott Rowland.
I'll tell you what, if you look up Scott Rowland's numbers,
they're pretty impressive.
They're pretty impressive. Third base, I think, is the least number of representatives of that position in the Hall of Fame. Of course, the ones that are in there are pretty solid.
2-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. He gets tagged out by Joseph for the putout, so they retire Judge for the first time today, 1 away.
Let's take a look. Does he go around too far? Yes.
Close.
Yeah. It's getaway day.
There's a strike to Holiday. Always tough decisions for Girardi on a day-to-day basis in making up his lineup, because with Gausman starting, Joe was asked before the game, anything wrong with Bird? He goes, no, just a day. He decided to give Headley the start, and Headley hits a 2-run home run. And by having Headley play first, and that opens up the DH for Holiday, he gets an RBI single. So every single day there's that tough call, because a lot of people feel they should be playing. High fly ball. Deep right center. Backing up is Jones. He makes the play on the warning track for the second out to retire Holiday.
I'm sure there are maybe some numbers, historical numbers, what those hitters have done against certain pitchers. But sometimes you face guys that you haven't seen much of. So it's up to the manager's call who his feeling is what gets a certain player in a lineup or out of a lineup.
And as Joe has said many times, at this point, it's not about hurt feelings. He said it's about how are we going to win the game that day.
I think the players understand that.
Yeah, I do too. It's a production business.
See, but aren't they all? I mean, every job's a production business. Although these numbers show up in the newspapers and online, where everybody can read them.
One. 2-1.
Speaking of production, Ellsbury with an RBI is his 4th RBI in the series.
Came into this game reaching safely in 10 of his last 12 plate appearances, and was 8 for 15 coming in. But he's 0 for 2, but he does have the RBI Kenny spoke about. Getting a chance to play with the injury to Hicks. 2-2. And there's a base hit for Ellsbury. And he's going to go for 2. And he will make it.
Well, he continues on the hot hitting. He's now 13 for his last 33. Here it is on Yesmo. And in this ballpark, most right fielders play well off the line, because if anything's hit down the line in the air, it's going to be off the scoreboard or up over it for a home run. We watched this on Yesmo. Ellsbury's going to come into your picture. Believe me, he was running a lot faster than that.
And a strike to Todd Frazier, who is 0 for 2. Todd 5 hits in his last 39 at bats. One, and that got him. So Frazier will take first, hit by a pitch.
This is the 11th time he's been hit by a pitch this year. He's among the league leaders. was about bell time. Maybe caught a lower rib, but he's on it first.
Now Donnie Hart gets up. 12 pitchers in the Orioles bullpen, 3 lefties. You do the math, 9 righties. Pitch outside to Roman.
You know what? I was just doing that.
Yankees today 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They have 8 hits and 7 runs. First and second now, 2 outs. Romine with a single and was robbed of a double down the line by Manny Machado. Popped up and out of play on the right side. Nice catch by a fan in the stands.
You see all these fans with the orange shirts here. The other day, my grandson Jackson came to the game, the first game on Monday, and he was wearing an Aaron Judge All Rise shirt. So one of the Oriole fans said to him, "I don't know if they're going to let you in the ballpark wearing that shirt." And Jackson said, "They better. I'm going to get to meet Aaron Judge today."
2-2.
That's a pretty good response from a 7-year-old.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
He's a sharp 7-year-old.
Yeah, he's cool.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on here in the 5th. 7-0 Yanks. And the pitch. Count is full. Well, this will be the last batter for Wright with the lefty swinging Gardner coming up. He's on deck. You'll see Donnie Hart come in for him. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Romine down on strikes. No runs to hit, no errors, and 2 men left at the end of 4.5. Halfway through, 7-0 Yankees. We started the day with sad news, the passing of Gene Michael, the architect of the modern Yankee dynasty, and really one of the biggest moves that he made, the one that really built the franchise the way he wanted to, was trading Roberto Kelly for Paul O'Neill. And Paul sent out a very warm text or a tweet earlier today, and he's nice enough to join us over the phone from his home in Cincinnati. Paul, your thoughts on the passing of Gene Michael?
Well, it's always sad. I mean, it's something that kind of shocked me when I heard the news today. But, you know, Gene Michael was the first guy that I ever talked to with the Yankee organization when I was traded. And, you know, he gave me an opportunity to play and to be part of, you know, it was the best time of my life in baseball. So I'll always be thankful for him. And I used to love to see him later in my career come into town because he was also like the advanced scout. So it was time for the playoffs. And just a great baseball guy, great stories. And I just, I was kind of shocked.
Did he ever tell you, Paul, what he saw in you to make that deal?
No, he told me, what he always used to tell me every time I saw him, that he retired too early. You had a couple more years in you, and he actually was telling me to come back that year that I did retire. So, again, I had a lot of respect for him, and he was a wonderful baseball guy, and it just a huge, huge part of the good things that happened in the late 90s and 2000s with the Yankees.
Because he said that you could come back and play, did you think about it?
I did. I actually started working on it. I was in the middle of the season. Joe Torre asked me, and they couldn't wait any longer. They went out and got Raul Mondesi. And I would have saved them a lot of money, Kenny, coming back for a half year. But, all kidding aside, Gene Michael, I mean, he was such – I think George really trusted him and his thoughts. And, that's the key to big acquisitions and big things in organizations, that you trust somebody and they make the right decisions. And Gene Michael was one of those people.
Rob Thompson, the Yankee bench coach, Paul, told me today, he said, when you look out to Monument Park, Gene Michael is as important as anybody out there to the history of the Yankee franchise. Would you agree?
You know what? It's a great point because, that wonderful run we had would have probably never have happened. It's got to be orchestrated by somebody. And he was kind of the brains behind it. And like I said, Mr. Steinbrenner trusted him and used to put him, on the block. This better work, and it did work. And Gene Michael was a guy that brought people in, believed in people, and he made you feel good about what you did on the field.
It makes you think that one day that there'll be some special marker out there at Monument Park for Gene Michael.
Absolutely, he's a big part of those championships.
Yeah. There could well be, and I remember the day that I was fortunate enough to be honored. He was out on the field and with me, and I just like I said, some people mean a lot in your career, and I lost my original scout in Cincinnati, about a month ago, and today Gene Michael. So a lot of people that were very influential in my career. It's a sad day.
Can I ask you one final thing, Paul? I wonder, on a more personal note for you, you ever think of the decision by Gene Michael, how it just completely changed your life?
No doubt about it. And it just he gave me an opportunity that ended up being the best years of my life and changed my life. And it's just, unless somebody believes in, unless somebody goes out on a win, I mean, at the time, I mean, you're trading an all-star player. There's a lot of stress and pressure on that, because if it doesn't work out, you'll never hear the end of it. So he brought me in there, told me exactly what he wanted, to hit the way I want to hit, and it just, looking back, was just an unbelievable opportunity.
Paul, thank you so much. I know not an easy day for you, because I know you cared about Gene a lot, but thanks for joining us on the game.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. That's Paul O'Neill, and just to repeat a story that I said earlier about Robbie Thompson. He said that Stick made the deal for Paul O'Neill because he knew that O'Neill walked, and not just walked, but worked pitchers. And he just felt that they needed players like that. He felt that the players that were on the Yankees when he took over as GM, the at-bats were too quick. He wanted to make pitchers work and get into the underbelly of the bullpen. And Robbie said that after the O'Neill deal, everything after that was used almost as a template for that deal. This is the type of player we want. Not per se Paul O'Neill, who he traded Roberto Kelly for, but a player like O'Neill that grinded out at bats.
It's tough. They like to describe these type as tough outs. Pitchers come away breathing heavily even if they've gotten this guy out. They've thrown 8, 9, maybe 10 pitches in one at bat.
2-1. 2-2 on Smith. It's amazing, though, when you think about it, that one trade by one man could change the fortunes of an entire franchise. And he had been putting in other pieces to change the way the team acted and was looked at. But O'Neill really started that rise to championships in the mid-90s. Amazing. One deal. The 2-2. 3-2. And at the time, it wasn't greeted that warmly because, as Paul said, Roberto Kelly was an all-star.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Yankees lead 7-0, bottom of the fifth, one out.
And you mentioned the ripple effect by trading Kelly that opened up center field for Bernie Williams.
Yep. Ground ball, right side. Right there's Todd Frazier. You score that a 5-3 for the second out.
Yet another ground ball out for Sonny Gray. There hasn't been a fly ball out since the second inning when Mark Trumbo flew out to right field. In fact, only 2 fly ball outs today. Skoke flew out to center in the first. And facing a team that loves to hit the ball in the air, and they've done that for the last 5 years. It's a home run hitting team.
Pitch outside to Caleb Joseph. Line left field, giving chase is Gardner. He won't get there. He'll cut the ball off on the warning track, but Joseph has himself a double.
Yeah, both Joseph and Wellington Castillo, who's been red hot with the bat. Castillo getting the afternoon off. And that pitch, right there in the middle, that's very hittable. And Joseph runs it into the corner for a 2-base hit, his 13th double of the year.
Tim Beckham takes outside, 1-0. Beckham 1 for 2 against Gray. The double by Joseph, the 4th hit against Gray. A single and a double by Jones, and a single by Beckham, and then the double by Joseph. So now Romine wants to talk with Gray.
Now each time, with the except just one time, when the Orioles got a man on base, Sonny Gray came back and got the next guy out. The only time that didn't happen was last inning with 2 outs, a double, and then a walk. But then he struck out Davis.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Three and 0.
Second consecutive inning after getting 2 ground ball outs, Sonny Gray's run into a little trouble.
And now he walks Beckham to bring up Machado. .81 pitches for Gray. 2 outs here in the 5th.
I was speaking to Larry Rothschild before the game, the Yankee pitching coach, and we were talking about the pitch that Machado hit out of the ballpark the other night to win the ball game. And you've heard it described a 12-6 curveball, really good one, like 12 on the clock, all the way straight down to 6. And I told him there's only 12 on that one. It never got to 6. And he agreed it was the worst pitch to Batat, maybe one of the worst ones he's thrown all year. And threw it to the wrong guy.
Strike on the outside corner. Fastball. Big cut, 0-2.
Well, we've heard David Cohen on previous broadcasts, at least when I'm watching. He usually says you got to hit her where you want him. Now 0-2, it's time to work him over and put him away.
Gray threw 30 pitches last inning. He's now at 20 in this inning. So the bulk of his pitches coming in these last two. 7-0 Yankees over the O's. And the 0-2. Missed outside, 1-2. Two and two.
Tried to get Manny to chase, one outside, one inside. He wouldn't bite.
Grounded to short. Gregorius flips to second, and they get the dangerous Machado to get out of trouble. No runs a hit, no errors. 2 men left on base. Let's go to the 6th. Against the Rangers. Start your game day at 7:30 with the Chevy Yankees pregame. Then Kenny and I will have the call right here on Yes and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So after the game, the Yankees head to Texas. And tomorrow's starters, Masahiro Tanaka will get the start for the Yankees against Martin Perez. for the Texas Rangers, both with 11-10 records. Coverage will begin at 7:30 p.m. on the YES Network. Donnie Hart takes over for the Orioles.
Hart got the call in the opening game of the series, went 1/3 of an inning. Had a walk, nothing else.
7-0. Yankees lead, top of the Yankee order. Brett Gardner has doubled and walked twice. Scored a couple of runs. Also has a stolen base, so a full day. And it's still early. Two and 0.
You know, we talk about Gardner's base running. You know, his home runs this year with 20, a career high. And I hope we don't take his defense for granted. He won a Gold Glove last year. He's got 10 assists as an outfielder. There's only one other outfielder in the league has more, and that's Gerard Dyson, has 11. Kansas City.
Richard Rodriguez warming for the O's. And that's strange that he'd have that many assists, because people have to respect his arm.
Yeah, well,
you wouldn't think they would run on him as much.
Well, you can get assists as an outfielder by hitting the cutoff man, and
Yep.
he makes the play. You know, there's a lot of accuracy involved with those throws to pick up assists. He's an all-around player. Left field at Yankee Stadium, as we all know, is not an easy field to play or patrol.
Three-two. Chop foul.
I don't know if this is with Rodriguez warming up. I don't know if this is a one and done, because Headley, of course, is a switch hitter. But I wouldn't think that Buck Showalter would bring Hart in just to get Gardner out leading off an inning. Maybe he's tired of seeing him on base.
Well, Gardner's seen a lot of pitches today with 2 walks, another 3-2 count.
And it's the part of the job of a leadoff hitter. Now you think of Hall of Famer Richie Ashburn with the Phillies. They say he could foul any pitch off he wanted to. Just keeping it bat going.
3-2. And a base hit for Gardner. A lot on the line for these two teams. Yankees are trying to catch the Red Sox in the East. They're 4 games back, 3 in the loss column. The Orioles 7.5 back. And the wild card race is obviously very, very tight. And the Orioles trying to get into the top 2 positions. They're a game behind. The Twins have the second wild card. Yankees have a 2.5 game lead over Minnesota. Then the Angels with a half game out. Orioles 1, Rangers 2.
You can throw a blanket over all those teams. I think we agreed that it's going to go down to the last weekend. And that would just about change on a daily basis.
Grounded to second. There's 1. And there's 2. That was not a very aggressive flip by Scope, and that allowed Gardner to get right on top of Beckham.
I think Beckham was playing a little bit further towards the normal shortstop position as opposed to the double play position. He was thinking that Headley might pull the ball against Hart. So he had a longer way to go to the bag than Scope did. So it took a little while, a little toe tap at second and throw on the first for the double play.
Here's Castro. 1-0. One and one.
There's Castro in the 6th inning looking for his first hit. Usually he's filled that column by now.
Driven to deep left field. That ball is gone. A home run for Starlin Castro. It's 8-0 Yankees.
Yep, he filled the column. That's number 14. His second home run in this series. Just a matter. It was going to be in the gap. Just a matter if it cleared the wall. Has the sound and the distance. 8-0.
Oh, and 1 on Gregorius. Yankees 3 home runs today. Judge a 2-run shot. Headley a 2-run shot. Castro a solo shot.
It's like they're trying to make up to Sonny Gray for all those runs they weren't getting him before.
Now he's going to get used to this.
If you were a pitcher, wouldn't you?
You'd want it.
Oh, my goodness.
Two and two.
You'll take the weight on the bench. You'll sit.
Fouled away.
Didi's already got a multi-hit game. That's number 40 on the season. 40 multi-hit games.
Fly ball, right field line, a long run for Smith. It's going to fall for base hit. And Didi is going to stop at second with a double. Well, you said that the right fielders here at Camden Yards don't play too close to the line, so they get victimized by fly balls like that.
And little dunkers that fall in, and you know, that was a fly ball. If you play him in normal position in right field, more straight away against a left-handed hitter, you make the play. You can see Smith well towards the gap. Long way to go. It falls in. He loses track of it. Didi stopped at second. I thought he had an opportunity to go to third, but this is his third hit of the game. He's 3 for 4. And that's his 25th double, his second double of the game. Yeah, kind of off the end of the bat. It's going to be a 2-base hit.
And Showalter will go to the bullpen. Baseball, stay connected with a fully customized experience. Get Yankees home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Richard Rodriguez takes over for Hart, and he deals to Judge. Off speed for strike.
And Rodriguez, who recently made his major league debut.
This is his third game. Judge, a 2-run home run, a walk, and a strikeout. And that one is lined into left center field. On the run is Mancini, and he makes the basket catch for the final out of the inning. Yankees get a run on 3 hits. 1 man left on base. Rubber game of this 3-game set against the Orioles. Earlier we spoke with Paul O'Neill about the passing of Gene Stick Michael, and that was one great trade he made. He also made a trade to get David Cone in 1995 that helped the Yankees make that sprint to the wild card, first wild card ever. And David is nice enough to join us here on the phone. David, I read the tweet that you sent out, and you said you were crushed, and like all of us that knew Stick, you couldn't help but love the guy.
Yeah, you know, Stick was beloved by so many people, and he touched so many lives in all walks of baseball. I mean, everybody from players like Paul O'Neill and myself to managers like Buck Showalter and even Joe Torre, but also scouts. You know, everybody from all walks of life in the baseball world. And people forget, too, that Stick off the field did so much work. He did a lot of work with the Ed Lucas Foundation for the Blind, and sponsoring that tournament and spending countless hours raising money for charity and to help out Ed Lucas's cause down there, who was a good friend of Phil Rizzuto's, who originally started that golf tournament. So it wasn't just baseball. You know, we lost a really good man today.
When's the last time you spoke to Stick?
Actually, at the Ed Lucas golf tournament, the charity golf tournament, a couple of weeks ago, and you know, Stick looked a little tired, but he was still there and still calling sponsors and still raising a lot of money for such a good charity down there that does such good work. And people in the Yankee family know who Ed Lucas is. He's around the stadium a lot, and Stick was a tireless worker for that cause and raising a lot of money. And he wasn't just a guy who showed up and played golf. He sponsored that tournament. He's the guy who made the calls and raised a lot of money and was there working hard behind the scenes of that tournament. So, you know, it's just such a sad day for those of us who knew Gene and knew Stick and knew what he meant to the community, not just baseball, but the New York community as well.
Was Stick the one who called you when the trade was made in 1995?
No, but I met him my first day at Yankee Stadium and talked to him about it. And I also got a little bit of backstory on my trade, and that you know, he was the one who was pushing that trade through. There were a few young pitchers in that trade, Marty Jansen for one, and Kevin Jarvis, who were highly thought of in the Yankee organization at the time. And there was some reticence to make that trade and to give up young players, as you guys have noted. That Stick was the one that kind of decided to push George Steinbrenner to keep a lot of the young players, the Bernie Williams, the Derek Jeters, the Mariano Rivera, as you guys have noted so well. But Stick also knew when you need to pull the trigger and bring a veteran in, and I was that guy. And you know, Stick just had a knack for knowing what to do at the right time, what the team needed, how to build a team, how to construct a roster, as they say nowadays. Well, Stick was a guy who knew how to construct a roster before it was a fancy term in the sabermetrics world.
We're in the bottom of the sixth inning. Yankees lead 8-0, and Mancini fouls it back. Now let's get to that, David, because obviously he was Moneyball before it was cool. He didn't have a book written about him. He didn't have Brad Pitt play him in a movie, but this was a guy who really saw the value. Not that he was looking to get cheaper players, but he saw the value in on-base percentage. And I know that you're a big sabermetrics guy. What did that mean to you?
Well, it meant a lot, and if you know that the theme of the 90s Yankees was a grinded-out offense and a grinded-out pitching staff, too. He liked pitchers who didn't give in. He liked pitchers who were high-concentration pitchers who really laid their heart on the line when they pitched. And, you know, it was more than just Moneyball theories. It was also character, high-character guys, and I think that's becoming back in vogue again. You know, we've seen the GM in Houston, Lou now, who's a sabermetrics guru, talk about character now over the last couple of years, and how that's the last piece of the puzzle that he learned about. And I think that's what Stick understood back then. You know, we can talk about on-base percentage, you can talk about, you know, the type of players you want from a number standpoint, but he also understood from a character standpoint how to build a roster and what type of personalities that would come together and be high concentration players like he talked, and guys who really cared, guys who really took losses hard, and people who really like to grind it out, players and front office people too as well, people around him that wanted a certain character element in the clubhouse that meant something. And I think, you know, in today's game, we lose sight of that, how the pieces fit together. And Stick understood that because of his baseball background, his scouting background. When you combine all the skills and talents and experience that Stick had, he understood all of those elements. That it's not just numbers, but it's also the type of people that you have in that clubhouse.
Well, the team that he put together is very successful, and I'm sure that all of you guys, you know, we talked to Paul today. We've got text from Bernie. All you guys have a special feeling for Stick Michael and what he was able to do and put you all of you together.
Well, we all do, because he was that type of personality. And when you talk to some of the media members, they are really broken up about it. Joel Sherman, who's covered the Yankees for a long time, and a noted columnist for the New York Post, was greatly affected by Stick because he was so approachable. Susan Waldman, another one who understood from what Stick meant and how nice a guy he was, how genuine he was, how honest he was, and how he was always available and open. It wasn't just the players. It was scouts. It was front office people. It was media. It was people in the media that loved it when Stick was around and loved talking to him and really learned a lot about the game from Stick Michael. And, if you get a chance, go read Joel Sherman's story on Stick Michael today in the Post that he wrote up very quickly. And it tells you a lot about the impact that Stick had and all the lives he touched. And anybody who's been around the game of baseball and even in the New York community on the charity side knows what type of a man that we lost today.
And also a fixture at Old Timers Day. I know he had a blast managing both teams every single year. He'll certainly be missed next Old Timers Day, too, as well, David.
Oh, he will. It'll be a big hole. He was the guy that was the manager. He was the guy that put the lineups together, and you could just see how much he loved baseball by the way he constructed the lineups for Old Timers Day. I mean, it was just remarkable. Who was the starting pitcher? Who was going to come in next? What is the lineup? Ricky Henderson obviously is going to lead off, and he would go around like it was a real game, like it was a game that was supposed to mean something, and talk about guys and put lineups together and make sure he communicated with everybody about when they were going to be used in the Old Timers game. So, all you had to do was be around Stick to understand that he had a genuine love for baseball and being around players and being around everybody that had anything to do with baseball. He just loved it. It was genuine. And he will be so missed, especially on Old Timers Day next year.
David, thank you so much for the time. I know you really care deeply about Stick, as we did as well. So thank you for giving us some thoughts on him today.
Not at all, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. That's David Cone. The Yankees sent 3 pitchers to the Blue Jays for Cone as they made that wild card run in 1995. And then David re-signed with the team and ended up collecting 4 more World Series rings as well on a team that essentially, although Bob Watson took over as GM and certainly made deals, and then Brian Cashman, the bedrock of those championship teams were built by Gene Michael. Here's Mark Trumbo with first and second, 2 outs. Grounded foul.
You might have had a look briefly while we were doing the talking about Stick Michael with David Cone that Chad Green is up in the Yankee bullpen.
100 pitches for Gray, and that's why Green is up. 8-0 Yankees are on the bottom of the 6th inning.
You get the feeling this is going to be his last man, one way or the other. If he gets him out, he's had a nice afternoon. If he doesn't, Joe Girardi will go for Green. Either way.
David talked about Stick's love for baseball. We used to play they still do, a Boston-New York media game. One at Yankee Stadium, one at Fenway. And one year he would always come down and watch. He asked to play. And we let him play, and he laid down a bunt, which we gave him constant grief over.
Oh, my goodness.
And one year I hit a double, and I was on second base and got picked off. And he was sitting in the dugout. And I sat down next to him. He goes, "Feels good, huh?" He was the best. Grounded to short. Tough hop for Gregorius. He throws the ball over the head of Castro. Backing up is Headley. Jones will score. Moving to third is Davis. And the Orioles are on the board. It's 8-1 Yankees.
Of all the good plays that Didi's made this afternoon, he was off balance when he caught this ball, and that's why it sails over the head of Castro at second base. A chance to get out of the inning. Not this time. Tough hop. Leans back and then airmails it over Castro's head.
Well, as Kenny said, that was going to be the last batter. And it is for Gray as he departs. They'll call on Chad Green. So Gray gives him 5 2/3. 1 run. It was not earned. 2 runners on base. They wouldn't be earned either. 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. And he turns it over to the bullpen. Chad Green is first up.
Yeah, the Yankees go from gray to green, and you can see what he's done. His numbers are just off the charts in a positive direction. 3-0, 1.97, 90 strikeouts, and 59 in the 3rd innings. 137. It's about the time this game started.
So here is Smith and a big at bat for the Orioles if they try to get back in this game. 8-1. Yankees lead, 2 runners on.
Powerful fastball, upwards of 98 for Chad Green, who's really settled into a bullpen role after coming up to the Yankees a couple years ago as a starter.
1-2.
Early in the season, this is another lineup change by Buck Showalter. Early in the season, Seth Smith was leading off. But with the addition of Beckham, Beckham's kind of taken over that role now, and Smith has been moved down in the lineup.
Smith battling. Fouled away again.
He tried to go to an off-speed pitch. Smith fouls this one off. You can see the shadows starting to creep. This is not the type of pitcher you want to be facing, with the shadows anywhere between you and the pitcher's mound if you're a hitter.
Swing and a tip into the glove of Romine for the final out. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. We go to the 7th, 8-1 Yanks. Michael, first starting as a Yankee intern, then working understick, and then eventually becoming the GM of the Yankees. And the Yankee senior VP and general manager said, "I am heartbroken by Stick's passing. He was both a friend and mentor to me, and I relied upon his advice and guidance throughout my career. He did it all in this industry, and his knowledge base was second to none. I will miss him." And I'm sure Brian is having a tough time of it today. Matt Holliday will lead off the 7th inning. Yankees lead the Orioles 8-1 on the Cadillac scoreboard. 8-11-1, 1-6-0. And the pitch to Holliday is a strike.
Oh, he mentioned that Rich Rodriguez has recently been recalled. Now, a lot of these young players, September is somewhat of a proving ground when it comes to next year. And you can almost tell when you get to spring training, when you get into games, how often you get into games, how many bus rides you got to take. Do you get to pitch at the home stadium in spring training? Or what they're really thinking of you at the outset. Then it's up to you to produce from that point on. Everybody's looking for pitchers. And anybody who gets called up as a pitcher in September has got to know that.
2-2. And the pitch. Strike 3, Holliday down on strikes.
Yeah, Holliday kind of knew it too. He started walking back to the dugout after he took the pitch. The target from Joseph. Man, this is almost right down the middle. That's why he's kind of upset with himself. Looked like it was almost tied up. Don't see that very often. Matt Holliday take a pitch in that location.
Here's Ellsbury. Picked up a double his last time up. Crowd of 14,946 here at Camden Yards. Two and one. Two.
You know, over the years, Ellsbury has been a top of the order, the guy whether it's been batting first or second in the order. Of course, managers trying to make use of his speed. But the Yankee order, he's been relegated to down near the bottom, but you could still be the same type of hitter and make things happen from that point. He's driven in a run today.
Chop towards second. Scope makes the play, 2 away. Here's Todd Frazier.
Just saw a nice look at Camden Yards. Now, you might expect on a day where a game is rained out, you're not going to get the crowd you would have the night before. Of course, a day game, a lot of people at work. But I look at Camden Yards, and it still remains. It's hard to believe this ballpark is 25 years old now. Recently, they had a reunion of the opening lineup back 25 years ago. Rick Sutcliffe was the opening day pitcher. Time flies. Of course, the backdrop is the warehouse where the Oriole offices are. The longest building on the east of the Mississippi. There's one in Colorado longer than this one.
High fly ball, left field. Going back, Mancini. Track, wall, leap, see ya! A home run for Frazier. A solo shot. Yankees lead 9-1.
I go back to our conversation in the dugout. Get something you can move. It took a little while, but here in the 7th, he moves it for his 23rd home run of the year.
Take a look at the replays brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here.
That's almost the pitch that looks like the pitch that Holliday took. Holliday took it for strike 3. Frazier runs it out of the ballpark.
Popped up off the bat of Romine. A long run, and Scope can't get there as he runs into the tarp.
Good effort, and it looks like he's okay. The tarp does not have much give to it. There's Davis, and now Scope with a little better angle. Oh.
He goes around 0-2. One and two.
From the 3rd spot through the 8th in the Yankee lineup, everybody has at least 1 run batted in today. Nice team effort offensively. Oh, wait a minute. They'll make that to the 2nd spot to the 8th because Headley hit a 2-run homer.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch. Gary Sanchez returns tomorrow. His suspension was 3 games long, so he missed this entire series. He'll be back for the series against the Rangers.
And with Frazier's home run now, everybody has joined the party. Everybody has at least 1 hit.
And now Romine has 2 hits. Well struck single to center field.
You've been to those parties. You know, everybody hits the dance floor. Everybody's having a good time. That's what it's like when everybody gets a hit.
Well, here's Brett Gardner. He has 2 hits and 2 walks. He's actually seen 26 pitches in 4 at-bats. 8, 5, 5, and 8. So a walk, a double, and a single. Yankees lead 9-1.
It's sort of like your wedding, Michael.
Everybody got a hit?
Everybody got everybody hit the dance floor. That's one of the better ones I've been to.
Thank you. The 1-0.
How many years is it now? Oh, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Jody might be listening.
2011.
Okay. Time flies.
One and 2. popped up. Machado makes the play for the final out. Yankees score a run on 2 hits, 1 man left. The run off the bat of Todd Frazier. Up number 54 tonight. Time for the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 9-13-1 for the Yanks, 1-6-0 for the O's. Sonny Gray lasted 2 outs into the 6th, and that's a lot longer than the Orioles starter Kevin Gausman lasted just 3 innings. Aaron Judge and Chase Headley, each with 2-run home runs. Didi Gregorius, 2 doubles, a single, a ribby, and 2 runs scored. Other homers in the game, Castro and Frazier with solo shots. Chad Green came on to strike out Smith for the final out of the 6th. Now Caleb Joseph leads off. Green still on the mound. Swing and a miss. It's a little bit of a shame with a pitcher of Sonny Gray's ilk starting and getting handed an 8-0 lead that you have to use a valuable arm like Chad Green in a game where now it's 9-1. You know, use him for an inning and a third here. They've been somewhat reluctant to use him in back-to-back days, so then you can't use him against Texas.
No.
I mean, they could push it, but you know, an 8-0 lead, you don't want to use your best pitchers in the bullpen, and he's certainly emerging as one of them.
Yeah, once you know, the magic number of 100 pitches, and that's when you get to that point. That's why bullpens become more and more important, and teams rely on them more and more.
And you can't blame Girardi because he wants to get every win that he can get. He doesn't want to risk by bringing in a second or third tier reliever. 2-2.
Well, it's a chance to win this series. And then that drought you were talking about here in Baltimore. What was it, 11 straight series they haven't won here?
Yep.
Yeah, so, you know, get that off your back. You're going to see these this Oriole team at Yankee Stadium soon for a 4-game series. It's a division rival.
Yacobonis up in the bullpen. Swing and a miss. Joseph down on strikes. Cadillac scoreboard 9-1 Yanks.
Yeah,
Told you earlier that there's an uncertainty where the Yankees go after Texas, and that's because of the expected arrival of Hurricane Irma in Florida, what part of Florida it's going to hit the most, and whether or not it's right to play a ball game there, and whether or not they'll be able to with electricity and things like that. So they know they'll be in Texas this weekend. Not sure where they're going after that. A lot of options. Joe Girardi presented before the game. Could be back here in Baltimore. Could be Chicago. They're hoping that they can do it in St. Pete, and if they do it in St. Pete and that area is hit, they could play one game on Tuesday and a doubleheader on Wednesday. So there are a lot of permutations that they have to work out.
Now, the Rays do have a series. They come to Yankee Stadium. And I could see where they wouldn't want to play 2 series at Yankee Stadium.
Well, they said, and Joe Girardi was asked about flipping the series. He said, no, it's not fair to do it to our fans who have tickets for that series and
have made plans already.
Right. Yeah. And that same thing happened with the Astros and Texas. We were playing games in Texas, and they were going to flip-flop those games. And they said no. Texas didn't want to do that to their fans because they do have a series later on in the month.
So they ended up playing it, ironically, Tropicana Field.
1-2. And again, where the Yankees and the Rays play, minuscule in comparison to what people are girding for in Florida, and we send out our best wishes to them. One, 2. 2-2 to Beckham. Looped into center field. That is going to dunk in for a base hit for Beckham. That's his second hit of the afternoon. Beckham certainly presents a pesky at bat.
Well, he does that, but the Orioles are going to have a decision soon because J.J. Hardy is on the horizon, ready to come off the disabled list. And I think it's the last year of Hardy's contract.
Yes.
So, wonder if Beckham will remain in the lineup.
Line to second, and he turned it into a double play off the bat of Machado to end the inning. No runs to hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Let's go to the 8th. Yankees lead 9-1. Have certainly made their sorrow known about the passing of Gene "Stick" Michael. Randy Levine, the Yankees president, said Stick was a great man with enormous heart and integrity and one of the greatest baseball executives of our time. Very true words there by Randy. That's how much Stick has the respect of everybody around baseball. and particularly in the Yankee organization, who knew it firsthand. Boy, a guy who did everything with the Yankees. Played, managed, coached, scouted, GM, special advisor. Every single role you could have. Ryan Flaherty takes over at third base. And a new pitcher is Jimmy Yacobonis.
Making his 8th appearance. His 7th was in the second game of the series.
Greg Bird pinch hits for Headley, and the pitch is high. Hyundai scoreboard, 9-1 Yankees lead. Foul back, 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2.
You see the shadows that I was talking about. Now they've completely covered home plate, but they're not really an issue until they get about halfway. You know, it's
fouled straight back here, still 1-2. Orioles play him to pull. 3 infielders right side. 2-2. So Headley, while he was in there, 1 for 4, but the one was a long 2-run home run, his 12th home run of the year. Skied the other way. Mancini is there and makes the play. 1 down.
the other day when Yacobonis came in, he stayed in for a little while, inning in 2/3, gave up 3 hits and a walk, but no runs. And we had mentioned he's from New Jersey. Matawan, New Jersey, in Central Jersey. Castro looked like he's swinging for his second home run of the day. Down to one knee. Nice little cutter, a little slider there.
One, 2. Off speed. Drops in there. Strike 3, 2 down.
Target's low away. Now Yacobonis misses the target, but he gets enough break on this ball to cover the inside corner for call strike 3.
That one's lofted to left field off the bat of Gregorius. Mancini comes on to make the play, and that will do it. As the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3 against Yacobonis, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 9-1 Yanks. scoreboard. It's all Yankees 9-1. They jumped out to an early lead. They've held on so far. Sonny Gray went 5 2/3. Chad Green won an inning and a third. Greg Bird takes over at first base. And taking over on the mound is Tommy Kahnle.
Hit another power fastball in the upper 90s. And you can tell that by the strikeout totals. 84 and 54 to third innings. These guys come out throwing smoke.
It'll be Scope, Jones, and Mancini against Kahnle, and I'm sure they're thrilled to be coming up with shadows and a guy that throws 98 miles an hour.
You mean like
Swing
that?
and a miss, yep.
Like Scope went to the theory, swing hard in case I hit it.
That is cracked into center field. On the run is Ellsbury, and he runs it down for the first out. Boy, did Scope hit that hard.
Yeah, he's having that type of year. Putting a lot of balls in play with authority. This one had the sound, didn't get underneath it, more of a line drive. And it's the longest part of the ballpark at 410 out there as Ellsbury makes the play. One down.
There's Adam Jones, 2 for 3 with a run scored, single and a double. Rounded to second.
Kahnle touch that, or just
might have slowed it down.
Yeah. I'll throw a 4-3 on that one.
Get a better look here.
Yeah, Jones hit it pretty well. It's still hard to tell. Yeah, this might be it. Nope, he didn't.
There's Mancini. It's like the Orioles and the Yankees might be in their next cities already.
You mean swinging early?
Yeah, they're not grinding at bats the last couple of innings.
Well, if you're going by distance, the Orioles are going to win that one. They're only going to Cleveland. It's about an hour flight from here. The Yankees are headed to Texas, about 3, maybe 3.5.
1-1. Two and one. Three and one. And the 3-1 pitch. Foul back, 3-2. Jaime Garcia taking some to the mitt. And the 3-2. Fly ball deep right, going back Judge on the track. He'll make the play right in front of the wall for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. We take it to the ninth. It's 9-1 Yankees. Kenny.
Yeah, one swing of the bat made a 1-0 lead, a 3-0 lead. Aaron Judge, high fastball. Gosman serves up a home run, his third that he's given up to Judge this year. That ends up in the bleachers. That's our Land Rover drive of the game.
New pitcher for the Orioles, Michael Givens. This will be his 60th game. And there are a lot of changes, and this certainly has a Tampa feel. Buck Showalter just spent some time with Sean Barber, the home plate umpire, and now Joe Girardi, the same deal, getting those changes. So we're getting them together for you. We'll get them to you in just a moment. So Girardi giving them to Rob Thompson, who's putting them on the wall. Aaron Judge, who had the drive of the game, he leads off. 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs scored. Swing and a miss.
Well, making his major league debut as a catcher is Chance Sisco. He's one of the top prospects in the Baltimore organization. And we got Michael Givens on the mound, who's making his first appearance of the series.
Down goes Judge. Well, every single position player except for Beckham has been changed since the beginning of the game for Baltimore.
You're right. This feels like Tampa or Sarasota.
There's Tyler Austin, and there are the new players, Santander, Rickard, and Austin Hayes, who's just called up. Joseph moves from behind the plate to third. Flaherty moves from third to second. You've got Mancini at first, and Sisco is behind the plate. And Tyler Austin pinch hits for Holiday. Fly ball, center field. Joey Rickard is there to make it a play. 2-away. And that's going to bring up Ellsbury.
This is one of those games where the Yankees, as it turns out, put it away kind of early, scoring 7 runs in the first 4 innings. Then tacked on 2 more just for good measure.
Rip foul. 1-1. Two and one. You could hear Sean Barber shout out. Yankees have 13 hits and 9 runs. Orioles 7 hits and 1 run. Count 3-1 on Ellsbury. Popped up. Flaherty makes the play, and the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. Last legs coming up for the Orioles. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Yankees are up by 8. Series in Baltimore since the beginning of 2014. Ben Heller will come on, his 3rd game for the Yankees. Spent most of the season at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Kenny, the last time the Yankees won a series at Camden Yards, the winning pitcher of the final game was Mariano Rivera.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
11 straight series they've lost, so every game counts. This is a big one, especially after losing that tough game on Tuesday. And they seem like they're in pretty good shape here in the 9th inning as they bring in Heller. A couple of changes for the Yankees. Torreyes takes over at short. Tyler Wade takes over in left field. And Anthony Santander will lead off.
Santander is a switch hitter. Called him up from the minors. He's had 11 at-bats and 2 hits.
Fly ball, left field. Tyler Wade makes the play. 1 away here in the 9th.
I would mention it was a good day offensively for the Yankees. 9 runs, 13 hits. Every starter had at least 1. Sonny Gray had a good afternoon. Finally got some run support. The bullpen has shut it down.
Pedro Alvarez pinch hits for Trumbo, and he swings and misses. 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Heller. Goes off speed, way out in front, 0-2.
So far in the 2 1/3 innings, the bullpen has allowed 1 hit.
Swing and a miss. Alvarez down on strikes. The Orioles down to their final out. And here's Austin Hayes, his first big league at bat.
This young man had a big year in the minors. Drove in 95 runs.
Oriole fans have obviously heard of him. They give him a nice hand as he steps to the plate against Heller. There's a strike.
Split his time between Frederick and Bowie. That's A and AA. 32 doubles, 32 home runs, 81 runs scored, 95 runs batted in. Hit .329 in both spots.
1-2. Yankees are a strike away.
Had the right timing, right?
Heller gets the sign and deals. Just got a piece to stay alive. One, 2. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here at Camden Yards. Bottom of the 9th inning, Yankees up 9-1. And the pitch. Well, he'll remember this at bat forever, whichever way it ends.
Yeah.
You work your whole life for this, and here he is in the big leagues. 2-2. Grounded to short, backhanded by Torres. The long throw. They get him, and the Yankees win the game by a score of 9-1. So Heller works a 1-2-3 9th inning, and the Yankees use the long ball today to put this one away. 4 home runs by the Yankees. And Sonny Gray will pick up the win, and the Yankees win their first series here in Baltimore since the beginning of 2014. Kenny, they needed this one, a nice bounce back from the tough loss on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's true. And after the rain out yesterday, it was one of those days where Joe Girardi wasn't pressed with every decision. The offense took care of that for him. Sonny Gray did a good job picking up a win. His first Yankee win on the road as the Yankees take 2 out of 3 here and now move to Texas.
And we all from the Yes Network send out our condolences and our thoughts and prayers with Gene Michael's family. He will certainly be missed. Now we throw it back to the studio. Ryan Rucker to set the table for the rest of the day.